Okay. Here we go. 3.26 patch notes. Secrets of the Atlas. Mercenaries of Charthus. New content and features. Tears into different realities within the Atlas have begun to appear. They're eggs. The originator of these realities has entangled themselves with the very fabric of the Atlas, and they're now trapped. Zana's trapped. We have to help Zana. You will meet Egan, a man of mysterious heritage trying to discover his origins. In his quest, Egan has been investigating these distortions of reality, occasionally catching glimpses of a young girl through the rifts. Zana. In the Atlas, you will encounter threads of consciousness, a strange thread-like substance that also looks like an egg that appears near the tears. Tears. Keep saying tears. Woohoo. By using a powerful gauntlet of his own making, Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. The areas you are asked to investigate are not your typical maps. They're memories, and they travel in a line. As you defeat the boss of each map, along the thread you are presented with an altar that applies a modifier to the remaining maps in the thread. It's like a roguelite. Roguelite. I always get those mixed up. Anyways. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, affected by all the previous modifiers selected at each altar. Boss fights did look pretty fun. There's so many new boss fights that we're going to get to enjoy. Some of the old boss fights, just a little bit more difficult. And I love that because one of my favorite boss fights ever is Malachi. I'm really looking forward to whether or not they've used Malachi. Because I saw an Innocence fight. But who likes Innocence? I hate the Innocence fight. He kills me every single time. Innocence is an asshole. Alright. The Mercenaries of Charthus Challenge League. Challenge Leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start in a new economy. All of your old characters are gone. Veterans have journeyed to the raid class for the lawless cities of Charthus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You freeloaders? A mercenary can be found in each area, each with their own personalities, as well as individual builds, skills, and items. Upon meeting a mercenary as per Charthan tradition, they will challenge you to a duel. To test your strength, inspect these mercenaries before the duel to make an informed choice. If you decide to duel them, you may choose a reward for your victory, hire them, take one of their items, or send them away forever. Exiled. Upon meeting a mercenary... Oh, wait, we just read that one. Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Charthan mercenaries bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from 4 major death trade families in Charthus, and these are sole source of items with the new infamous modifiers. Very cool. Sorry, it's been a long day. Only one mercenary can accompany you at a time, but you can have up to 3 in your service. Having varied options is useful as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight. Uh-oh. What I'm hearing is you're not going to be able to do some of these new boss fights unless you're fully equipped. Okay. So, only one mercenary can accompany you at a time. But you can have up to 3 total in your service, having varied options. Okay. I think it's important that I reread that because what are they, like Pokemon? One dies, I send out the next one, maybe? You can replace the items equipped on them. 3.26, there are standard, hardcore, and solo self-found variations. The new Mercenary Challenge has 40 new challenges. 19th challenge onwards. For every 3rd challenge after that, you will receive pieces of mercenaries, totem pole decoration to display in your hideout. Oh my goodness! It's never been done before. The totem pole permanently showcases how many of the mercenaries challenges you completed during the league. Cool. New content and features. Added a new intelligence dexterity support gem. Focused channeling. Supports channeling spells you cast yourself, significantly empowering the damage of supported skills the longer they are cast, while also increasing their cost the longer they are cast. Cannot modify the skills of minions. Self-cast enjoyers. Log in. Introduce the Shaper's Exalted Orb, which adds Shaper influence and a new Shaper modifier to a rare item. Is this support gem going to be good for Winter Orb? You know what I'm talking about? The one that you like charge and above your head? Anyways, Shaper's Exalted Orb, Elder's Exalted Orb, those things are new. Orb of Remembrance, which adds memory strands. If you don't know what those do, the memory strands are super OP. It's how you can, like, I mean, it seemingly nearly guarantees modifiers at a tier 1. I you know, don't quote me on that, but the showcase really was like, hey, so I put these memory strands on this item, and suddenly it's like everything's tier 1, so what are you going to do about it? Introduce the Orb of Unraveling, which consumes all memory strands in an item to attempt to upgrade the tier of explicit modifiers based on the number of memory strands consumed. Introduce the Orb of Intention, which modifies a memory influence map, causing items to have more memory strands but fewer item drops. I think that's going to be very valuable. Honk Arrive. Added 5 new divination cards. Okay. You can now pause the game. Rogue Harbor can now be accessed through a pin on the world map, and you no longer have to upgrade it. Maximum number of players in an instance of the Rogue Harbor has been halved. Wow. Okay, so less people in the Rogue Harbor. A message is now output to chat whenever Nameless Sea or Reflecting Mist spawns randomly in a map. Cool! I love that. Guild officers may now cancel unaccepted invitations to their guild. Continued to incrementally improve the sound art and everything else. In-game changes. Players can no longer gain or lose experiences in the following area. Absence of mercy and empathy, absence of patience, harmony, value and meaning, crux of nothingness, eye of the storm, seething chime, the sacred grove, Shaper's realm, and the Maven's crucible. I hope they expand that eventually. I think that there are some, like, side content bosses that definitely deserve the pinnacle title, because they're like the top of their mechanic. I don't know. Atlas memories have been improved, or have been removed. Oh, bye. Existing items will be deleted upon logging in, and existing memories on your Atlas have been removed. Introduced some new red tier Keurig missions. Breach splinters now drop as a big clump instead of scattered all over the place, so you have to go and pick them up one at a time. Commonly found scarabs now drop at higher stack sizes. Using an Orb of Horizon can re-roll Guardian maps. Completing a non-unique map at a tier lower than it is naturally found no longer grants map bonus objective completion. Hey, that's not a good thing. Gut Punch. Owie. Further improved level generation of blighted maps so that they fail to open less often. I'm not a blight enjoyer yet. I don't know. Maybe I will be this time. But I plan on playing melee, so. The following maps. But I'm going to bring this over to my main monitor so I'm not turning my head so much. The following maps have been added back to the Atlas. Acid Caverns. Arid Lake. Okay, those are just letting you know what maps are going to be in rotation. These are the ones that are going away. Bye-bye. Map tier and locations have been shuffled. Some of the map bosses you are required to defeat to upgrade your Pantheon have been changed as a result. Crafting recipes have been shuffled, and ones that were previously unlocked in maps have been removed from the Atlas and are now found within other maps currently on the Atlas. Atlas passive tree changes. Okay. Okay, we're getting to the difficult part, and my webcam is crapping out, so let me go ahead and reset it. Boom. Atlas passive tree changes. Here we go, here we go. Skills that provide additional chance for your maps to contain a master of extra content that can be turned off through Atlas passives now also cause scarabs in your maps to have an increased chance to be scarabs of that type of extra content. The Ruthless Atlas passive tree is not affected by this change. Intelligence Gathering notable Atlas passive tree has been replaced with the Lethal Extraction notable. Wait, hold on, I feel like I need to read this one again. Provide additional chance for your maps to... Okay, so they buffed those. The ones that give you chance to spawn a master or chance for a specific scarab, they buffed them a little bit. The Intelligence Gathering notable Atlas passive tree has been replaced with Lethal Extraction, which causes executing immortal syndicate members and grant intelligence. 2 times their rank. Vision. I feel like that's worded strangely, but I think that's a buff. The straight and narrow notable Atlas, a honk arrive. What's going on? Passive has been replaced with the new Miner's Strike notable, which prevents ore deposits in Calgar and Scarabs. Okay. So you can block that now. Added 2 Atlas memory clusters to the passive tree. Those are at the very, very top. You didn't see them in the trailer. Traumatic experience. Those are the new Pinnacle boss fight targeting notables on your Atlas tree. Respectively, Incarnation of Dread, Incarnation of Neglect, and Incarnation of Fear. Zana had a tough childhood, okay? Settlers added to the core game. After almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to King's March. And now its services can be used to their full effect. You don't have to do that anymore. Woo! Gold can drop from slain monsters. So you can pay workers' wages as well as respecialize your passive skill tree or purchasing items from the black market at a number of NPCs throughout Rayclass, not just King's March. Woo! Currency exchange will also be returning. You'll encounter Faustus and Lion Eyes Watch in Act 6 who can help facilitate trades. Upon reaching the endgame, Johan will invite you to King's March and maps. You'll start to find different ore veins, which Calguran workers can mine for you. Send them to go get this ore, turn to town, and do something with it. By shipping items to Karui ports, you can receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what they provide you. So tattoos are sticking around. By shipping items to Calguran ports, you can rune craft a new passive skill tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously provided in the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of applying to a passive skill, they apply to an allocated passive mastery skill. I really, really love this. This is far easier to engage with because everybody's got a mastery that they're not using, most likely, I think. But not many people had an item that they wanted to runecraft on with like the super top end, right? Top end runes, because it's like, okay, I don't want to waste this like turbo rare rune. But yeah, I love this. This is so streamlined. Brilliant. Isla has continued to make modifications on the Recombinator. Recombinator is here, and if you didn't know, they improved it, but also if you enjoyed how you had it working before, you're going to be able to do that still. They are giving you the option of, hey, you don't want to do the whole like Brainiac modifier juggling that like Captain Lance or some of the like, you know, what's that one group playing guy? Snap OS? Yeah, like if you guys aren't like Empyrean and Snap OS or whatever, yeah, here's the Recombinator for you. And then Snap OS and Empyrean and all the other Brainiac players, it's still there. Don't worry. It's awesome. I really, really love what they've done. Isla's previous method of recombinating is still available. Yep. Introduce the Calguran Scarab of Abundance, which causes an area to contain an additional ore deposit. Introduce Calguran Scarab, Guarded Riches, causes monsters guarding ore deposits in an area to be at least magic. Nice. Introduce Calguran Scarab of Refinement, ore deposits in areas, smelted bars instead of marking ore. Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Really speeds up the process. Added 4 Settlers of Calgur clusters to the Atlas passive tree, including the following notable passive skills. Prospector's Luck, contain ore deposits, contain more ore deposits, rarer varieties of ore deposits. Ore deposits in your maps are replaced by lost shipments. Crimson Infusion ore deposits do stuff like increased chance for ore deposits to be Crimson Iron. Okay, so you can target it with these different ones: Amber, Verisium, Vericillum, Bismuth, and a new keystone, Refiner's Bargain. Equipment items with rarity drop by possessed monsters in your maps have 25% chance to be converted to thaumaturgic dust. Sulfite found in your maps is granted as a random ore instead of 25% of the value. Life Force found in your maps is granted as a random crop instead of 300% of the value. Some other Atlas passive skills have moved location to make space for the new clusters and keystone added. This is great. Refiner's Bargain. I need to reread this. Just monsters and maps, more dust. This is probably actually going to be a popular choice because the thaumaturgic dust before was rather useful, no? Sulfite found in your maps is granted as a random ore instead. And life force is from harvest, right? So that transforms a lot. That transforms a lot, and you're doing like multiple mechanics in order to engage with it. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder how good that's going to be. Sorry, shoulders are sore. Yeah, betrayal rework. Let's read through it. The Mastermind boss fight is now separate from the safe house mechanic. You don't have to worry about ruining your safe house loadout, right? You got Varisi over in research, or you got Asling over in research, or whatever. Don't worry about it anymore. It's safe. Just do the boss fight. However, I don't think that she's considered a pinnacle fight, so you can still lose your experience in that encounter. Which, hey, I am hopeful they will come to understand that every boss deserves to have that experience protected, not just pinnacles. If you die in a map, yeah, you probably deserve to lose some experience, because that's honestly what you're there for. But in a boss fight, like, come on, just get them in the door. Get them in the door. No inhibitions. No, oh, but if I don't do this, and screw it. I love this kind of a change, and I hope they expand upon it. Anyways, sorry for the digression there. The Mastermind boss fight has been improved. Now significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards. I love not having immunity phases, so excited to see how that fight feels now. Honestly, didn't really mind the fight before, but there were certain parts that you know, if you didn't have like enough life regeneration or the specific mitigation, you just weren't doing the fight. Like you'll get nuked by those dot fields. It's not like she's super tanky or anything, but you know, just a small annoyance there. Mastermind's lair cannot be accessed if you have not unlocked the end game. Failed modifiers on the Mastermind's unique items are now able to unveil some new modifiers that are exclusive to these uniques. One of those, one of those modifiers that they revealed specific to the uniques is +1 to maximum inspectors from the weird-looking bone shield. I forget what it's called. Sorry, I've never made a build with it. But maybe people are going to use it in a build now because +1 inspectors is nothing to sneeze at. Katarina, Master of Undeath, can now drop all flame embers. These new map fragments can add packs of monsters and maps with different types of special monsters. These special monster packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. All flame embers can be replaced in your map device like scarabs and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps. So a little bit of a necropolis making a return. Pretty cool. Katarina, Master of Undeath, no longer drops rare veiled items and exclusive modifiers. These are now exclusive to the unique items she can drop. She instead now drops rare double veiled items. Nice. Even more incentive to get in there and whoop her ass. The amount of safe house intelligence obtained from choices made after defeating immortal syndicate members has been lowered. The time taken to reach a safe house and overall longer than before. I feel like I skipped a word and ended up sounding a bit Fred Flintstone there, but we're going to move forward and pretend nothing happened. Once you get your hands on a safe house leader, you can your only option now is to execute them. Well, no love lost there, let me tell you. All right, they're making jokes, dude. They're feeling themselves. Veiled orbs have been renamed to Veiled Exalted Orbs. Their functionality is unchanged. Reintroduced Veiled Chaos Orbs, which reforges a rare item with new random modifiers, including a random Veiled modifier. Love it. I missed them. Safe House leaders now have a chance to drop Veiled Chaos Orbs. Good. Safe House rewards have now been completely rebalanced. Happy interrogating. I remember this one time, whenever it was actually Betrayal League, one of the first times that they offered me some like currency, you know, it just says like some currency as a reward after you set them free or execute them or whatever. It gave me like 3 divine orbs. I was like, oh, this is a great league. It never happened again. But man, did I pog out. I loved Betrayal. I love Betrayal just because I love the character design, and sometimes you like listen to Janice, and the guy is honestly hilarious. Don't sleep on the writers in this game, man. They're really funny. The Betrayal Scarab of Intelligence has been renamed to Betrayal Scarab of the All Flame. It now provides 75% increased number of monsters packs substituted by All Flame Embers in area. All of the crafting bench recipes normally granted by unveiling items instead now unlocked through maps on the Atlas. Similar to normal crafting bench modifiers, these modifiers must now be unlocked by interacting with one of the recipe objects that can be found near bosses in map areas. I'm going to trust them that Elrion's ring modifier is untouched. Just like Costco, do not change the $1.50 hot dog. Minus cost to non-channeling skills is the $1.50 hot dog of Path of Exile. It's the truth. There are 41 recipe objects which unlocked Veiled Modifier crafting recipes on your crafting bench. Some Veiled Modifier crafting recipes have combined with pre-existing recipe objects that unlock normal crafting bench modifiers. You are no longer required to speak with Jun ever again. You can now right-click the item in order to unveil it and select which option you would like. I love that change. Anything that helps me spare this thing over here, man. Like I'm clicking a lot. Okay? Removing all rivalries in the Immortal Syndicate is no longer an option offered when Jeez, I'm all over the place with pronunciation today. Deciding what to do with defeated Syndicate members, though there is a new option to remove all rivalries in the current division. Bargaining with Immortal Syndicate members can now give multiple scarabs and veiled items, but fewer currency items. No! I was just praising that. Damn it. Oh well. Oh well. Player balance. Intensity stacks are now lost every 0.5 seconds while moving. Previously, okay, that's a big buff. Arcane Surge buff now provides 20% increased cast speed. Another huge gargantuan buff. Skill gem changes. Animate Guardian. Animate Guardian now retain their items when they die. Oh my... Yes! 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 Oh, yes, it's so good. Let's keep reading, though. Let's not celebrate too much too early. However, oh, no, don't do it to me! If your animated guardian dies, you cannot summon an animated guardian again in that area. That's fair! Hey now! That's pretty fair! I can't complain! I don't lose the items anymore, but I just can't resummon them? Bro, that is massive! Massive! Holy cow! I'm in love with that, dude. I'm in love with that. That is like literally something I have requested. I made the Bob build series. HS nerf? No! Hold on. Hold on. It's not there. It's not there. It's too good. It's too easy. Okay. Anyways. I lost my place. Here we are. Bane of Condemnation. Has a base cast time 0.8 seconds. Okay, so it takes longer to cast it with a mana cost of 14 at gem level 1. Scaling up to 27. It deals more damage. Okay? Flat buff. Blade of the Unloading. 5% more damage. Horror Blade Vortex at all gem levels. Blade Blast of Dagger Detonation. Okay, buff. I think these are all going to be buffs, guys. I think these are the underperforming skill buffs we may have been requesting. Maybe not all of them. Hey, right? Like, there's a whole heck of a lot of them, and that's probably more work than we actually realize. Going in and testing it all, or at least like having an understanding of where to throw the dart. Right? Maybe they haven't tested every single little nook and cranny, but surely you need to do something in order to know where to throw that dart for it to not land in, like, I don't know, somebody's cereal or their favorite build, right? Whatever. Effectiveness of base added damage. Previously, yeah, these are buffs. Blade Trap of Greatswords, buffed. Massive buff. Big buff. 40% effectiveness of damage at the top end. I don't know if that's actually going to be enough. They're probably going to have to buff that one more still. Blade Trap of Laceration. Is this a buff? Yeah, that's a buff. But it's scaling now, so it's not as upfront strong, but still a buff. Blade Flurry. A buff. Blade Vortex. Buff. Body Swap of Sacrifice. Buff. I can't believe they're actually buffing Body Swap, though. Body Swap is, it was not struggling. It was a little off meta. Kind of clunky, I guess, but I definitely remember there being like a Body Swap video and like they were popping off in a simulacrum or something. Anyways, Blight. Now buffed. Oh yeah, that's kind of a big buff. I wish they would just give it to us in like percentage buffs. We buffed it by this amount. Sometimes they do. I guess it's harder whenever it's dot. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think these are all buffs. Blight of Contagion. Bone Shatter of Karn. They buffed it! Karn got a buff! Burning Arrow of Vigor. The quality has to be a misprint. Zero to 20% more damage against stunned enemies. More. Oh yeah. More damage. Log in. Burning Arrow of Vigor now has 75% attack speed. Carrion Golem of Scavenging. Crackling Lance of Branching. Basically, if it's on this list, dude, you got a buff. You got a buff if you're on the list. Except for, I mean, let's be honest, we all know who aren't getting buffs. Chaos Dot finally got a buff, still not playing it though. True. Cold Snap got a buff. Holy cow. That's a big buff. Contagion. Honestly, Essence Drain Contagion could kind of be a vibe. Essence Drain Contagion could definitely be a vibe again. What, did Chaos Golem get like a special treatment? $20 through 25% more damage. Oh, wow. Sorry. Some dead skin. Contagion of Transference. Okay, more contagion buffs. Cyclone now has extra damage. You saw it in the teaser, too. Cyclone got almost a unique item made specifically for it. Cyclone of Tumult got a buff. Death Aura. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They even thought of Death Aura? They even thought of Death Aura. They buffed it. Bro. A whole 250 chaos damage per second. What? That is crazy, dude. Wow, 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 wow. Boom. Let me what's up real quick. I don't have to keep changing it. Okay. Detonative Dead. Oh, is this a nerf? We found our first nerf. And it's a good one. Fuck you, Detonate Dead. Discharge of Misery. Now has 210% effectiveness of added damage at all levels. Buff. Divine Ire. Buff. Divine Ire of Disintegration. Buff. Divine Ire of Holy Lightning. Buffed. Essence Drain. Unchanged. And then buffed. It got buffed. Essence Drain of Desperation. Buffed. Essence Drain of Wickedness. Buffed. Exsanguinate. Buffed. Exsanguinate buffs, dude. Log in. Ooh, Exsanguinate of Transmission buffs, too. They just want you playing Exsanguinate again, dude. Exsanguinate Gladiator. Right? Isn't that like the angle? Eye of Winter of Finality. Got buffed. So Eye of Winter buffs. You better believe you're going to be seeing Jungrown or some mechanical enjoyer out there making a build out of these changes. Fire Trap. Ooh. Fire Trap nerf. Fire Trap nerf, everybody. A whole 500 damage taken off that top end. Wow. I didn't see that one coming. But I guess Righteous Fire is... It's really good, and Fire Trap is what they always go for their single target. I'm sure it'll be fine. Flame Blast of Celerity now has a base cast time of 0.3 seconds. Buffs. What? No. That's a nerf. Yeah, no, Flame Blast of Celerity got nerfed, right? No, the casting got nerfed, but the damage got big buff. Yeah, oh my god, look at that quality. 0 through 40% more spell damage for each stage. Holy crap. Wow. What are the max stages? 10? That's insane. That thing is gonna delete bosses. Flame Dash of Return. Buffed. It does more damage. Flame Surge of Combusting. Buffed. Firestorm of Meteors. Buffed. Frostblades. Just straight up more damage. Oh wait, no, hold on. Less. Wow. Frostblades nerf. What? Really? Really? Was it even doing that well? I don't know. Maybe I just didn't. I wasn't tuned in to like the right people. Frostblades of Catabasis is also heavily nerfed. Frostblades of Catabasis got nerfed somehow. How? Bro, Route 2 has got to be mad. Not only are there self-cast buffs, but Frostblades and Frostblades of Catabasis got absolutely, like, destroyed. Both of them absolutely destroyed. And there's self-caster buffs. So, Route 2's wrong. Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice. Now deals 20% of your maximum energy shield as base chaos damage. Buff. Frostbomb of Forthcoming. Big buff, 60%. Galvanic Field. Buffed. Glacial Cascade. Small buff. Hex Blast of Havoc. Oh, you know it's going to be a nerf, right? Oh no, that's a buff. Hex Blast buff? Okay. Holy Flame Totem can now target enemies 33% further away. That's nice. Not many Holy Flame enjoyers out there, but it is a good totem, so I'd be excited to see some people playing it. Holy Flame Totem of Ire can now target enemies the same distance. More projectile speed buffs. Ice Crash of Cadence. Buffed. Ice Nova of Deep Freeze. Buffed. Ice Nova of Frostbolts. Alright, everybody. Close your eyes. It won't hurt if we just do it quickly. Ice Nova Frostbolts can now expand up to 2 Frostbolt projectiles, previously 4. Ouch! And no longer has 25% less area of effect when cast on Frostbolt. It now has a base radius of 1.8 to 2.2 meters at gym levels 1 through 20, previously 2.6 through 3. Owie. 50%. 50% nerf on that. Wow. Holy camole. They said, we're not going to nerf Archmage, but play something else with it. Or play this again and have it be worse. Incinerate of Expanse. Buffed. Ooh, cast speed got buffed. That always feels good. 80% more damage with Ignite. Now causes Final Wave to deal 150% more damage with hits. That's the quality. What the hell? Wow. Incinerate of Venting. Buffed. Not a huge one, but it got a buff. Infernal Cry. Buffed. Lightning Conduit. Buffed. They want Lightning Conduit of the Heavens to be some sort of shock support. I kind of dig it. Lightning Strike. 50% less damage. Oh my god. Holy shit. They said you like using 2 attacks, huh? You said you like using Vol extra strikes, huh? Well, keep doing it. Because you have to now. Lightning Strike of Arcing. The same treatment. Lightning Tendrils of Eccentricity. Stronger Pulse every 5 pulses, previously 6. Lightning Tendrils of Escalation. Buff. Molten Strike. 60% less damage. A whole extra 10%. Zenith gets the same treatment, but then also has a whole 200% lopped off the top end from that 5th attack. Perforate of Bloodshed. Buff. Yep, that's a buff. Perforate of Duality, that's a buff. Power Siphon, here's another one. Here's another one. Everyone, just calm down. It's not going to hurt. Power Siphon. 90 to 105. Previously 140 to 159. Holy. Oh! That's a crit! I didn't know I could be crit by patch notes. Well, it's not me being crit, but anyone planning on enjoying Power Siphon out there, that's a 1/3 nerf, right? That's a 33% nerf. An attack speed of 150%. Well, okay, well, you get some attack speed back. Maybe this is looking at Palstron's video and saying, okay, we want this to nerf mines. We don't want it to nerf anyone else planning on enjoying Power Siphon. This is actually a pretty smart change. This is a really smart change from GGG here for Power Siphon. I like it. Power Siphon of the Archmage now has 60% effectiveness of added damage, previously 100%, and then gets the same treatment. Same treatment for the attack speed, so they just want it to be better for non-mine builds. They don't want you playing mine Power Siphon. Or they just don't want it to be as strong as it was. I'm not going to say they don't want you playing it, but 33% nerf for both of those. Purifying Flame of Revelations no longer has meters to radius. It now has meters to radius of concentrated ground at gem levels 1 through 20. It's a buff. So, Raise Spectre of Transience. Minions now have 800 through 1,180 increased critical strike chance. Holy crap. That's a lot. I got hiccups. Reap got a buff. It got a big buff. Almost 300 flat physical at the tail end there once it gets fully leveled. Righteous Fire of Arcane Devotion. 25% more cast speed at level 20. Scorching Ray. That's a buff. Immolation. That got a buff. Scourge Arrow. Yeah, this got a buff too. Shield Crush of the Chieftain. This one better be buffed. Let's see here. This is a pretty good buff. Yeah, that's a pretty good buff. Good. That could add up to a lot of sizable amount of flat damage once fully leveled. I'm not sure anyone's going to be playing it, but we'll see. We'll see whether or not there's any Shield Crush enjoyers out there. Siphoning Trap now deals a lot of damage. Siphoning Trap build win. Give that skill some extra effects, GGG. It's not enough just to buff the damage on that one. You're going to have to give it some tender love and care. Soul Rend. That's a lot of flat damage. Soul Rend kind of looking like the amount of damage that Catabasis did before. Maybe it is a Chaos self-cast league. Soul Rend of the Spiral got a buff. That one got a huge buff. Massive buff. Don't sleep on those Chaos spells, especially Soul Rend, I guess. Spellslinger. Base reservation of 20% at all gem levels. Previously 30 through 25% at gem levels 1 through 20. That's a massive buff. Spellslingers, where are you at? Where are you at, Spellslingers? Because now is your time to become an enjoyer again, especially with all of the new rune shenanigans. They were definitely insinuating that you could just trigger to your heart's content, and I can't wait to see what some people cook up. Splitting steel buffs. Wait, no, wait, hold on. Is it a buff before I speak out of turn? Yeah, no, splitting steel buff. Splitting steel of ammunition. It's a buff. Storm burst. That's a buff. Summon Chaos Golem. No longer has physical damage reduction. Now gives chaos resistance. And it gives damage over time multiplier. Interesting. Chaos Golem is really good now. I mean, the physical damage reduction was still valuable before, but like, wow, that's a glow up right there for Chaos Golem. Summon Chaos Golem of the Maelstrom. Golem's Maelstrom now inflicts significantly more wither stacks. Big buff. Summon Flame Golem. 5% on the bottom and then 10% at the top. Just about. Summon Flame Golems of the Meteor. Meteor skill now deals approximately 30 more damage, or 30% more damage. Summon Ice Golem. Increase critical strike at all gem levels. That's a big buff. Summon Lightning Golem. It's a small buff, but it no longer scales, so it's just a flat 10%. That's huge quality of life. And then he also gives you mana regenerated. Wow. Wow. Holy cow, dude. Hello, Lightning Golem. Raging Spirit of Enormity. Got crit multi. I don't think that changes enough. Ah. Summon Reaper of Eviscerating. Quality causes minions to have 20% chance to aggravate bleeding on targets. Summon Reaper of Revenants now has a maximum of 3 through 4 Reapers. Skeleton Mages. 20% increased chance to inflict their respective elemental ailment. Summon Stone Golem. 20% increased defenses. Wow. So Summon Stone Golem is a massive glow up too. Increased defenses on top of life regeneration. Wow, wow, wow. That's a huge, huge defensive boon. Void Sphere of Rending. That's a buff. Vortex. That's a buff. Vortex of Projection. That's a buff. Bro, I would legitimately pog out if they said that you can put instant effects back on your left click. They'd be like, we were wrong. Wintertide Brand now deals 295, 298. Okay, so it's got a little bit of a buff on the Wintertide. I like Wintertide Brand. It's kind of cool. I was playing it with Abby. Vol skill changes. Vol Blight got a buff. Vol Cold Snap got a buff. Vol Cyclone got a buff. Vol Lightning Strike got a nerf. Sorry, Vol Lightning Strike. Vol Reap got a buff. Okay, support gem changes. Arcane Surge, as we all know, Arcane Surge got the attack or the cast speed buff. Huge more damage modifier. Wow, that is an insanely competitive support gem now. Insanely competitive support gem right there. Arcane Surge now grants 30% mana regeneration, 20% cast speed at all gem levels. Previously 30 through 58%. Okay, so it's going to be hard to get that mana regeneration back for Archmage builds, but kind of a deserved small nerf there for them. Archmage support skill now grants added lightning damage equal to 10 through 16% of unreserved maximum mana. Okay, another Archmage nerf. Awakened Spell Echo now has a cost and reservation multiplier. Spell Echo, small nerf. No longer causes supported skills to deal 10% less damage. I was wrong. That's not a nerf. That's not a nerf. Sorry, I misread that. That is a huge buff. Massive buff. Awakened Unleash. Now costs less mana. And it's a buff for the damage. Decay support. That's a buff. Are there any decay builds? I don't really know. Greater Spell Echo. Now costs less. Infused Channeling. That's a buff defensively. Take a lot less damage now. 12% less damage when channeling. That's huge. Wow. Intensify. Intensify now costs less and deals more damage. Pinpoint. Costs less. And you deal more damage. Returning projectiles. Returning projectiles got a nerf. Sacrifice. That one got a buff. That one got a pretty good buff. Spell Echo. Yeah. Spell Echo's got a huge glow up. Unleash. Now has a cost reservation multiplier that's lower in mana. Supported skills now deal less damage. Nope. That's a buff. Unleash got a buff, just like Spell Echo. So, very, very nice for those support gems. And then, sorry, returning projectiles. It looks like you were the only one that got nerfed. Oh, wait, no. Archmage got nerfed too, yeah. Ascendancy changes. Berserker. The Defined Pain Ascendancy passive skill has been reworked. It now causes you to gain Defiance for 10 seconds on losing life to an enemy hit. No more than once every 0.3 seconds. It causes you to gain 3% of missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy per Defiance, and causes you to lose all Defiance when you reach 10 Defiance. That's a pretty good defense. I like that. The Blitz Ascendancy passive skill has been replaced with a new notable, Gore Dancer, which grants 30% of your life leech, is instant, requires Aspect of Carnage. Bye, Blitz. Blitz was so much fun, man. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. I hope they bring it back. It's not worse. They're just going for more of a life leech angle. And life leech is one of the most powerful things in the game. 30% instant leech is like crazy. But I don't know if anybody's going to be picking it still. I don't know. Well, you never know. Berserker's kind of in like a weird spot. The Flawless Savagery aspect has been replaced with a new notable Ancestral Fury, which causes your strike skills to now also target the previous location they were used. That'll be fun to mess around with. I like visual improvements like that. But Flawless Savagery, I'm not really familiar with it, so let me look at that real quick. Flawless Savagery. I don't think that one needed to go anywhere. Flawless Savagery was kind of like pretty good, wasn't it? It wasn't interesting though. Flawless Savagery wasn't interesting. Let's be real there. Even if Flawless Savagery was like numerically kind of like okay. I don't know. I won't say that with my melee build, it was a choice between Berserker and Slayer. And I gotta say, Slayer just looks more fun. Like, looking at the Ascendancy notes, I was like, why would I pick Berserker over Slayer? Like, there's not really anything here that would make me say, like, yeah, I want Berserker. If anything, I feel like they should have just, like, divvied up the damage gained from Aspect of Carnage, and then gave like the other nodes like, you know, hey, here's like 10% damage, here's 10% damage on this one or whatever, and then just make Aspect Carnage go away for one of the new ones they just made. I don't feel like, but that's gone now. Blitz was the reason. I have played Berserker recently, and I didn't pick Blitz. I didn't feel like I needed it. But it is fun. I won't say Blitz isn't fun. But yeah, that's certainly a controversial change right there. That'll probably get a couple people riled up. Champion. The Fortitude Mastery Ascendancy now causes you to have your maximum fortification, previously 15. Wow. Wow. That's a big buff. Wow, that's a big buff. %3 more armor and evasion rating per fortification. No longer requires Conqueror and now has you taunt on hit. Yeah. Place with the new worthy cause is notable. Having a placed banner does not prevent you gaining valor, and banner skills have 50% increased duration. Requires inspirational. That's a pretty big change on that first line. You can get a lot of max fortification. Guardian. The Harmony of Purpose Ascendancy has been reworked. Harmony of Purpose, which was... Let's see here. Woo! Woo! Well, at least Abby and I got to try out the build while it lasted. That being said, the build where you like use 2 link skills, it was just way too clunky. It was never gonna work. So not too much lost there. And that's a compelling new effect. Random shrine buff every 10 seconds, that's a potential immunity. Potential divine shrine. Potential adrenaline shrine. That is seriously a compelling ascendancy node for real cold hard fun. Like, ain't no way there's not going to be a Guardian goal build. Hierophant. Sanctuary of Thought Ascendancy passive skill. Oh, wait. Did I finish reading that? Unwavering Ascendancy grants 50% increased reservation efficiency. What? What? That's a lot. Guys, that's a lot. That's a lot of reservation efficiency. 50%. They're speaking to me. They are absolutely speaking to me. Big Aurabot. I am the Aurabot for my minions on that boy. I love playing like Poison SRS on Guardian and just stacking as many auras as I can, and this is going to be so much more in that direction. I love it. Fantastic. That's what I've always wanted on that Ascendancy, is just more reservation efficiency. Hell yes. No more waiting until you have that stupid jewel combination to steal from Hierophant. Hell yeah, man. Guardian can do it themselves now. Sanctuary of Thought. No longer provides 25% increased mana reservations. Provides regenerate 1 mana. Oh! 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 Holy fuck! You can't do it anymore. Get wrecked! Holy cow. Molten Strike of the Zenith is still probably viable at least? Yeah, it's probably still viable. Wow, dude, Hierophant just got destroyed in that interaction. Regenerate 1% of mana per second. That's probably better than it sounds, but like that sounds laughably bad in comparison. Essentially, that wing of the Ascendancy is now like Cloak of Defiance, the Ascendancy wing. Because that wing gives you mind over matter on a lower basis, and then now it gives you 1% mana regeneration, which is also part of Cloak of Defiance. So, pretty cool. Kind of giving an ode to that item and its creator, almost. Alright. Saboteur. Added a new Shrapnel Specialist Ascendancy passive skill, which causes projectiles to have 50% chance to return to you and projectiles to be fired in random directions. Nemus, the Ascendancy node. They are out of control. Legacy of Frisia taught them that we're just a bunch of filthy animals waiting to be let loose. Holy cow. The Explosives Expert Ascendancy passive skill has been replaced with a new notable. Calculated risk, which causes your critical strike chance to be lucky and damage with hits to be unlucky. That's pretty funny. I like that. I wonder how that actually works out. It's obviously a buff. Nobody ever chooses the Explosives Expert Ascendancy node. It was like, what was it? It was like a 50% chance to deal more damage or something like that. But this is, hey, you're absolutely going to be dealing more damage. But maybe not the peak of what could be lucky critical strike chance. Because lucky critical strike surely is bananas. The Combat Specialist Ascendancy passive skill now has hits have 30% chance to deal 50% more area damage. Previously 20% chance and 30% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits. Previously 20%. Oh wait, no, that was the one that I was thinking. Then what is Explosives Expert? Is Explosives Expert the one with like regeneration? Maybe I'm misremembering. Or is Explosives Expert the one with like different flask types? I think Explosives Expert was the one with like different flask types and shit. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, it was. Okay. So no real loss there. Huge gain. Saboteur log in. I mean, wow. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Saboteur, that's a massive, massive glow up. The Bomb Specialist is now rather compelling. Actually, not really, still. I don't know. I don't really like the Bomb Specialist, but on the previous note of the lucky critical strike chance, that's probably going to be pairing well with Marlene's Fallacy. That's probably going to be pairing well with cast on crit builds. Yeah, Saboteur just had a lot opened up for it. Trickster. Polymath Ascendancy now provides 2% more damage for each type of different master you have allocated previously. That's a nerf. Escape Artist now provides +4 for 1 maximum energy shield. Previously +5. Okay, yeah, some reasonable nerfs. Reasonable nerfs for Trickster. Reasonable nerfs, for sure. Elementalist. The Shaper of Storm now no longer has 25% more effective lightning elements you inflict with hits. It now has shocks from your hits always increase damage taken by at least 25%. Nice. Wow, that's huge quality of life. You no longer have to invest in that direction at all. It's like, I want to apply a shock, please let me do it. Boom, be an elementalist. Shaper of Winter Ascendancy passive skill no longer has 50% more effective cold ailments. Also, wait, doesn't that mean that since it's the baseline, you would also be able to increase that number much more easily? Pretty cool. Shaper of Winter Ascendancy. It's obviously a buff. Reduce action speed up to a maximum of 40%. Instead, it now causes enemies chilled by your hits lessen their damage dealt by half of chill effect. Huge defensive layer there. Hello, Surfcaster. And enemies chilled by your hits have damage take. Yeah, dude, they said, hey, this is pretty good on Surfcaster. Why don't we go ahead and throw it over to Elementalist? Wow, I love it. But that also does mean that you can't go self-chill on Shaper of Winter. Because, whenever I found out that I was self-chilling myself, but also having that apply to me, even though it doesn't specify, like, it says enemies chilled, right? I don't know. It was like a small little note, but I'm hoping nobody gets frustrated by it. The Shaper of Flames Ascendancy passive skill no longer has 25% more damage with ignites to inflict with hits. Instead, it now causes enemies ignited by you convert 40% of their physical damage to fire. That's a nerf. It's not a nerf, it's a defensive trade-off. So, but I don't know if it's really worth. I don't think Elementalist is going to be happy about having their ignites be weaker. The Liege of the Primordial Ascendancy passive skill now grants +2 to maximum number of summoned golems, previously +1, and summoned golems are now immune to elemental damage. Nice. So only physical damage can kill those guys now, which is probably unlikely, as they have gargantuan life pools. Elementor Ascendancy passive skill has been replaced with the new notable, Bringer of Ruin, which grants 66% increased mana reservation efficiency of Herald skills and 66% increased Herald buff effect. No longer requires Liege of the Primordial. That's pretty cool. I feel like that's a shout out to MB Extreme. This note right here. I feel like that's a shout out to MB Extreme and how he had so many people enjoying Ethereal Knives Elementalist with all those heralds active. All the explosions. Passive skill tree changes. Elemental mastery that cause hits to have a chance to treat monster elemental resistance values as inverted now has a chance for 15%. I knew this nerf was coming, dude. As soon as they introduced this thing, I was like asking Zizarin in their chat or asking like a bunch of different content creators, like, what do you think about this? Like, don't you think it's like bonkers OP? And they're like, no, like, why would you think that? I'm like, I feel a little justified. It is obviously one of the most enabling masteries in the entire game. You get it? It's like a light switches on. Like a light switches on, dude. Every fourth hit, you're going to be absolutely popping off. That's not how, you know, statistics work, obviously, but, or percentages, whatever. They're the same thing, kind of. The Leech passive mastery that previously provided 10% of Leech's instant now has a value of 5%. Oof. Oof, dude. That's a big oof. That hurts. We were planning on using that, but hey, you know what? If that's the only nerf we faced, no big deal at all. The Link passive mastery that granted elemental ailments are inflicted on you instead of linked targets has been replaced with a new mastery that causes enemies in your link beams to be unable to apply elemental ailments. That's a nerf. The Wand passive mastery that granted unnerve enemies on hit with wands has been replaced by a new mastery that provides 25% of increased mana reservation efficiency of skills provided by Spellslinger. Very cool! Very cool. They're like, who is this old mastery for? Here. You're using a wand, you probably want some more mana reservation for Spellslinger. Man, oh man, that is absolutely huge quality of life for Spellslinger enjoyers, dude. There are additional passive tree changes related to both caster and cold damage that we're still finalizing. Check back soon. Casters and cold damage. Cross your fingers that those are buffs. I'm pretty sure they're going to be buffs. All of this is so exciting. There's been nothing but expected nerfs, and they're not even really that bad of nerfs. These nerfs are not death sentences for any of them, I would say. Hierophant losing mana reservation efficiency is probably a little bit of a pain champ for some people, you know? Power of Purpose or whatever it was called. Let's keep reading. Unique item changes. The Balance of Terror unique jewels, you are unaffected by freeze if you've cast Frostbite in the past 10 seconds. Now grants unaffected by freeze instead of immunity to freeze. Wow. Oh, that has big implications, guys. That is a flowering of the Chieftain Ascendancy node. That means you are going to be able to potentially have a self-freeze build and benefit from that in some way. That's the implication that I get from this. I find that really exciting. I find it cool. You know, they're like, okay, people like self-igniting, like people like self-shocking. Are there self-freeze builds? The Bitterbind point unique shield now has 50 to 100% increased spell critical strike chance per Ray Spectre. Wait, hold on. The unaffected by freeze. Isn't there like an amulet that makes you have like a crap load of life regeneration? Isn't there like an amulet? Wintertide? No, not Wintertide. It's like a little golden snowflake amulet or whatever. Pretty cool. Anyways. Critical strike chance per Raised Spectre. That's a big buff. Wow. No longer has increased spell damage though, so it's kind of evens out. Or wait, no, but no, it doesn't even out because that's just a straight up buff. Spectres aren't a spell. Cane of Kulamak. Unique staff now can rarely be found with 4 veiled modifiers. Wow. Wow. Holy cow, man. The Devouring Diadem no longer provides +1 to level of socketed gems. No! My easy level 4 Enlightened, dude. No! Come on! The Ephemeral Edge unique sword now has attacks with this weapon. It just means that you can do that with like another helmet. The Vertex. What else? There's a couple of helmets that give plus to gem levels. Ephemeral Edge sword now has attacks with this weapon have added maximum lightning damage equal to 10 through 15%. Okay, 5% nerf off the top. Existing versions of this item can be made worse using a Divine Orb. Ooh. Not a huge nerf, but a deserved nerf. Not a huge nerf, but it is deserved. Mercenary slot unique gloves are no longer part of the core drop pool and can instead be found equipped to certain mercenaries. This unique now also has 8% of damage from hits is taken from marked target's life before you. You can make your target take the damage it is dealing to you. That is a really, really good defensive layer. I would not be surprised if people start thinking about including these in their build. That is actually good. Like, really good. The Nadir mode unique jewel now causes spells to have 30 through 50% increased critical strike chance, and you can update it. Queen's Hunger unique body armor now triggers offering skills are triggered in a set order rather than random every time. That is a quality of life buff. The unique no longer provides 5 through 10% increased cast speed. I like the Queen's Hunger, so I appreciate that buff. Ralakesh's Impatience unique boots now have one of either. Count as having unique maximum number of endurance charges. Oh, it's here, the Ralakesh nerf. Ooh, and immune to corrupted blood. Do they still have the resistances? Maybe they don't have the resistances anymore, but Yeah, I would say that is fair balance. I would agree. I would also still potentially be interested in them. I would still love to just always have endurance charges. The movement speed is appreciated now. The corrupted blood allows me to focus on other things. I don't hate it. I think that's okay. They're doing a great job. Yeah, I think they're doing a great job with these. Item changes. Divination Scarab of Plenty. That's a buff. Titanic Scarab. That's a nerf. Additional changes to scarabs. Check back soon. I don't know if I'm going to be checking back for specific scarab changes, but I appreciate the honesty. Thank you, GGG. The drop chance of Orbs of Regret has been lowered. No! Oh, this is a nerf to me! This chance has been distributed across the other currency items that can drop. Uh-huh. Listen, I make way too many mistakes. Raise that chance way back up, okay? Can we double the amount of regrets? I will consume all of them. Weapons and armor with multiple attribute requirements now have a lower chance to roll attribute modifiers. Okay. Appreciate that. Life, I guess it was like having double the chance. Life and mana leech modifiers on equipment items and jewels now roll as suffixes instead of prefixes. This does not affect items with existing prefix leech modifiers. Legacy leech jewels are here, boys. And I'm pretty sure this is a nerf because you do not want leech as a suffix on those jewels. Because the suffixes otherwise are just too good. Little bit of a nerf, probably, for some people. Scepters, stabs, rune daggers, and wands now roll attack modifiers less often. Wand crafters are rolling in their grave. If you're a physical wand enjoyer, you're having a bad time from this. I'm sorry. Scepters, that makes sense. Staves, I don't know if I agree with staves having a less chance because there's literally like physical staff build that kind of isn't too terrible. Daggers, I also don't really agree with. I wish there were physical dagger builds so that I could play like a rogue or something, you know. But this is maybe something that can come in time, and the more I speak about it, hopefully the grapevine will keep growing and eventually reach their ears. Anyways, I don't know. I don't really agree with this change. Staves now roll a higher tier of increased mana regeneration rate, including 105% at the highest tier. Wow. Staff Archmage. Crafting bench modifiers for increased mana regeneration have also been updated. Resistance modifiers can no longer roll or be crafted on weapons. Yes! 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 Yes, dude! This is what I'm talking about. Prune the stuff you don't want to see on that item. I don't want to see attributes on my item. I don't want to see, I don't want to see attributes on my weapon. I don't want to see resistances on my weapon. You know, it's just like, this is awesome. I love that. That's a really good one right there. Synthesized implicit resistance modifiers no longer roll on weapons. Good. Increased values of life granted per enemy hit weapon modifiers and added 4 more tiers which scale into endgame. I spoke too soon. They're re-adding more shit. 4 tiers scale into endgame. Well, you know, it depends on how good they are, though. Highest tier modifier grants up to 30 life per enemy hit. That's really going to be more of like a ranged weapon modifier, I think, because if you're melee, unless you're getting like just a ton of hits out. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Like 30 life per enemy hit, that could actually end up being a lot. Even for melee skills. Increasing the values of life granted per enemy killed. That's just a buff for that. Increased values of mana granted per enemy killed. Chance to ignite. Chance to freeze and shock. Have all been buffed on staves and wands. And scepters. The Redeemer's prefix modifier of influenced elements for physical damage taken as cold no longer has higher than expected values. It's a nerf. Veiled crafting bench modifiers that granted area of effect and area damage, projectile speed, and projectile damage and melee strike range can now roll on gloves instead of amulets. Okay. The veiled crafting bench modifiers that granted area of effect and level of socketed area gems are no longer able to roll on gloves. Okay, so let's read through those then. Area of effect, projectile pierce, melee strike range. Okay. So those no longer go on gloves, huh? Okay. So really, all they're saying is they're taking away the pierce from the projectile thing and the level, and then they're taking away the like levels from the other things too. So that's a little bit of a nerf on that one. Hybrid added elemental damage, veiled, and crafting bench modifiers can now roll on amulets. Really, it's not a terrible nerf though. Those are some popular modifiers, and especially the pierce one. The AoE one was also kind of popular for artists. Woo! Divination card changes. These have been disabled. Avian Pursuit. Can't turn them in. Bargain Divination card has been re-enabled. Now awards Flawless Breachstone. Mayor Divination card has been re-enabled. Light of Meaning Unique Jewel is the reward. Monochrome Divination card has been re-enabled. Now awards Valdo's Puzzle Box. That's really cool. I love that. Somebody's Wisdom Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards a Corrupted Tabula Rasa with 2 implicit modifiers. Very nice. Squandered Prosperity Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards a Corrupted the Light of Meaning Unique Jewel. Very cool. Underground Forest Divination card has been re-enabled and now awards 10 Grand Eldritch Ichors. Ruthless changes, not for us. Monster Balance. As merry monsters located around ritual altars can no longer drop omens. That's kind of a bummer, but I guess they just want you to engage more with the actual ritual mechanic. Ah! Kirak League mods. 50% increased chance for scarabs. Contain more ore deposits. Abysses, Ambush, Anarchy, Beyond, Blight, Breach, Delirium, Essence, Expedition, Harbinger, Heist, Legion, Ritual, Torment, and Ultimatum. Quest reward changes. Focus channeling support is now offered to the Witch and Shadow for completing a Fixture of Fate. Okay. Your map device now has a 4x5 rucksack that can be used to store maps, map fragments, and currency items. You can use control click. These are all the quality of life things. Microtransaction changes. Enable the existing Executioner's Guillotine. Okay. Good changes there. Let's read through some of these bugs, shall we? Fixed a bug where instilled flasks were not being used when their conditions were met when fighting the Trial Master. Fixed a bug where Absolution minions were unable to use skills if the gem was socketed into the Fallen Unique Shield. Fixed a bug where the Lionized Fall Unique Jewel was not transforming, gain rage on melee hit passive skills. Fixed an issue where chaining and returning projectiles starting positions would cause desync. Fixed a bug where the Gladiator's more than skill ascendancy passive skill was causing lucky blocks to be rolled an additional time. Holy tanky. Fixed a bug where you would still receive the benefits from the Magmatic Strike's notable passive skill even if the notable had been transformed by a Timeless Jewel. Huh. Somebody was taking advantage of that, I'm sure. Fixed the bug where the Corpse Walker unique boots for each nearby corpse modifiers did not have the appropriate modifier tags. Fixed a bug where the Glacial Cascade would not react to changes to area of effect after starting the skill. Fixed a bug where the attack speed for Blade Furry was only used attack speed multiplier of your offhand weapon even when dual wielding or using your main hand weapon. Nice. Fixed a bug where the discharge skill used by monsters had no area of effect and as a result dealt no damage. Oh, that's good. Fixed a bug where the Twist of Fate Atlas Keystone passive was not functioning correctly. Fixed the bug where Divine Blessing supported auras could be animation cancelled before the contact point had been reached. Fixed the bug where some skill-specific stats were not working correctly with the transfigured version of the skill. Fixed the bug. I wonder what that is referring to. Converted to blighted maps were not being converted to blight ravaged maps when the area was affected by blight scarab. Blight enjoyers rejoice. Fixed a bug where the transfigured poisonous and explosive concoction skills, holy cow words, not displaying the belt of flasks on you. Fixed a bug with the Black Flame unique rings ignite visual effect. Fixed a bug. Oh, that has a visual effect? I didn't know that. Wow. That's cool. Fixed a bug where a modifier of the Relic of the Pact unique wand could be scaled and thus have the value reduced to 0 with a tempering orb. I'm not sure I understand that one. I'm too stupid. Fixed a bug where you could have inaccessible items in the 5th and 6th map device slots if you had left items in there when migrating your character and did not have access to the slots in the league you migrated to. Fixed a ritual deferral cost and display astronomical number when the deferral cost was reduced too much. Fixed a few cases where corrupted unique items were dropping identified instead of unidentified. Fixed a bug where some unique monsters weren't always receiving the correct amount of damage reduction. I think that's in our favor. Fixed a bug where monster packs were able to spawn too closely to waypoints or certain NPCs in areas. That'll feel good so that you don't just get absolutely destroyed at the start of an area. Fixed a bug where Uthrid, Covetous Trader, could drop a divination card in Ruthless. Yeah, you can't have those Ruthless players getting loot. Fixed the bug where King's March, Atlas Runner, rescue portals were sometimes opened at Isla. Fixed the bug where Demigod's Beacon was missing its visual effects. I love visual effects. Interaction between the Ghoul Carrier effect and some Skull Helmet interactions. I have no idea what they're talking about. Fixed the bug where Angelic Shield microtransaction was missing some of its effects. I don't know if I have that one. Fixed a wonky interaction between the Redemption Shield and Paladin weapon effect microtransactions. Fixed the bug where the Eyes of the Nethermancer helmet microtransaction were visually popped out when equipped to Shadow. Fixed a rare client-side crash that could occur with the Flask and Gem Stash tabs. Fixed a client crash related to Vol Arctic Armor. Fixed a client crash that could occur on macOS. Fixed 2 instant crashes. Very nice, man. These are some awesome patch notes. I am so excited.